Good morning and welcome to Miss Hall's pondcast. Hello to everybody at Newby and to all of Year 4. It was really nice to speak to some of you on the phone on Friday, so I hope you're all still staying safe. Today we're going to take a look at tadpoles, so let's get started with some keywords. Tadpoles, algae, life cycle and gills. You may remember that we talked a little bit about algae in the first podcast and we said it was a vital food source, and that's exactly what you're going to see when I move the camera over here and show you the tadpoles. As you can see, the tadpoles are the little black dots swimming along the surface of the pond, and they're moving their tails side to side to swim. The pondweed is the green plant that they are swimming near, and the algae is the fluffy area of the plant that you can just see on the edge of the pondweed there, and that's what they're eating. We're going to take a closer look at some tadpoles now, and then we will put them back in the pond later. So, I've just got a tub here, and what I'm just going to do is dunk it into the water, let it pick up some of the tadpoles like that, and then we'll take a closer look. So, you can now see the tadpoles a little bit clearer in this water. As we've just mentioned, they move their tails side to side to swim. Their head is at the front of their body and it is the circular shape, and that's the heaviest part of them, so they need to keep their tails moving to stay balanced. You'll notice that the top of their tail and the bottom of their tail is thinner, and that their muscle and the power in their tail is in the thicker, solid black line that you can see at the back. They also have gills, which was one of our key words. They use their gills, like fish do, to breathe underwater, and at this point don't need to come up for oxygen, but they do like to be on the surface of the water to feed whilst it's sunny. I'm also just going to add into our pot some pondweed that I took out of the pond before I got the tadpoles out, and that way you can hopefully see them feeding a little closer. So again, they like to come straight towards the pondweed. They actually use it for coverage as well, and again that element of camouflage and keeping safe from predators. The last time we spoke on Pondcast, we found out that newts were also in this pond. Newts and tadpoles, someone has done some research for me and sent it through, which is lovely, thank you. Newts and tadpoles don't often live together because newts like to eat tadpoles. So we're just going to sit back and wait and see what happens, because we think we've got enough tadpoles to keep the pond going. I'll just move this a bit closer for you, and I'll do a shot from the top as well so you can see. Okay, I'm going to let those swim around there for a little while, and whilst they're doing that I'm going to show you some activities you could be doing at home. Let's just move over here. Okay, so the first activity you could do this week is to draw your own tadpole in a mind map and then try and think of as many adjectives as possible to describe tadpoles. When you've done it, if you could send a picture, that would be really good, and I'm sure your class teachers would love to see it. You could do an aquatic creatures comparison, because not every creature swims the same. How do the creatures swim? Why do some creatures move differently to others? And do they all have tails? What about humans? Do we swim like water-based creatures? So I've given you examples. There's a starfish, a human, a salmon, a seal and a dolphin there, but you might want to compare some others. And then finally, you could have a go at making your own sock tadpole. I'm going to show you how to do that now. So, you will need a pair of old socks, preferably black, because tadpoles are black, And you need to make sure that your socks are not needed by you anymore to go on your feet. So make sure you ask an adult first. You will also need an elastic band or a bobble. You will need a pair of scissors, a black pen, something to create eyes. I've got some sticky pads, but you can think of lots of different ways to do this yourself. And you might need a glue stick. I'm going to show you how to do it now. So first of all, you need to get your sock, one of them, and you need to turn it into a ball. Just all I did then was just twist it in on itself until it became a ball shape like that. Then I'm going to get my other sock and I'm going to put the ball shape inside it and push it right down to the toes. And then you should be able to see I've got a thick ball at the top there, but there's nothing left here. So what I'm going to do to secure that ball at the top, I'm going to get my band and put it around here. So that is secure. And once I've done that, you've got a shape that's very similar to a tadpole. So you've got its head here, and then this would be its tail. But its tail's not currently the right shape. So you might want to go back through the video and look at the shape of the tadpole's tail. Then when you're confident with it, again asking an adult to help if you're little, I'm going to start cutting along the edge of my sock so that I can get that shape that I want. You can take a lot more time and be really careful with this and neaten it up. And get rid of that bit because I don't need it. And then I've got myself a bit more of a tadpole shape, but my tadpole can't see where he's going. So I'm now going to add some eyes. I'm going to draw on some pupils. Like that. And I'm going to get some glue as well because these sticky pads aren't really meant to go on fabric, so I'm going to help them along. I'm going to just put a little bit of glue on the sticky pad, get my sock tadpole and stick one eye, then the other, and there you have it. You've got your very own sock tadpole. You might want to do some stitching along it to give it some real definition in its tail. You might want to add on a mouth, and you might want to make your own algae as well. You can send those to any of your school emails and the teachers will pass them on to me. Okay, we've got one last thing to do before we finish this pondcast. We need to put these tadpoles back in the pond, and then we're going to give them a little bit of cucumber just to help them along because we've got lots of tadpoles in this pond. So we'll put the tadpoles back in, very gently just lower them into the water. There we go. And then we're just going to put in some slices of cucumber because they really like to eat cucumber. Okay, so the tadpoles now will spend a little bit of time getting used to something new being in their pond, and then hopefully they'll start eating their cucumber. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Pondcast. Looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye!